I want to welcome you all back to the IE427 garage. We are finishing up work, or all the work that we can right now, on the 25th anniversary car before we pull it off of the lift so that we can get Michael's car back up here and really push to the finish line to get his to paint and over to the upholsterers. So follow along as we take care of just some little incidental stuff that we can take care of while it's up on the lift. We're going to do a rough alignment. We're going to change out the wheels and tires to our shop wheels and finish up the drop trunk box in the back. And then we're going to show you the fabrication of the battery box that we're putting in the rear quarter panel for Brian. We're making him a kit for that. So hang on. All right, I'm hoping I can give you guys a couple of tips to do just a rough eyeball alignment on your car so that you can get it pushed around the shop easier. When this one came in, and there's, nothing against anybody that does it this way, nothing against the owner that dropped the car off. Alignments intimidate people. And so when this stuff gets bolted together, you can go exactly according to the assembly manual and still have a car that is, pigeon-toed out or pigeon-toed in, and it makes it tough to get the car pushed around around the shop. So I'm going to show you what I do, and then, you guys can, take that advice and do what you will with it. I just basically take a 2-foot level for the rough. I do have a fast track tool over on the bench over there, but just take a standard 2-foot level, and what you want to do is set the camber on it so that the bubble is just touching the inside of the line. That'll give you about your 1/2 degree of camber. Don't worry about caster or anything else right now. All you're trying to do is get the wheels as close to up and down as you can. Then for the toe, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take and you're going to push this boot back like this. That is after you take the clamp off. And then just leave the clamp off to the side. Your alignment guy will thank you later. And then take some lithium grease or even Vaseline and put the Vaseline on there and then push the boot back in place. And that'll allow you to turn the inside tie rod without having the boot collapse on itself, because it'll do that and it'll frustrate the hell out of you. All right, so then once you get the steering rack boots lubricated on each side so that you can get the inner tie rod to move, then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to measure. You're going to measure from the same point on each tire. So I like to always do whatever's the easiest to reach. And this time it was the outside rib right here and the outside rib on that side. And when there's no engine in the car, it's a piece of cake because you can just go right through the frame to the other side, hook your tape measure on, and then pull it relatively tight. You just want it tight enough so that it doesn't keep falling down. And this is by no means precise. And you're just trying to get a measurement that's close. So, for instance, I had 58 and I think an 1/8 when I was all done, 58 and a 1/16. And on the front, I had just under 58. So it was like 3/16 toe in, which is, to me, is perfect. But once we put the engine in and everything and weight the car down, it's going to change. But for now, just for pushing the car around, it's going to be fine. Even if it starts to toe out a little bit, you'll still be able to push the car around. But if it's pigeon-toed out, especially if you're trying to push it on a hill like I have outside the shop, it becomes a chore to push it, especially if there's an engine in it. So just get it close and then just leave it alone. And then if you're not going to be the one doing the final alignment, you're going to take it to a shop, just know it's going to be close enough that if you have to drive it a few miles, you're not going to scrub the tires off to the point where you ruin them in 4 or 5 miles. Now, if you've got to drive it 20, 30 miles to get the car aligned, then put it on a trailer. But a few miles is not going to hurt it. Most of the alignment shops around here are within a mile. And so I don't worry about it. But then again, I align them here. I do the alignment and the corner weighting. So that's it on the alignment. We've got it really close right now. We are in the process of taking our shop tires. I had 2 new tires put on the shop wheels yesterday, and I picked them up this morning because the 20 some odd year, hell, they could have been 30 years old, that I got from my buddy's aisle, just wouldn't hold air. And that's what happened with the other 2 shop wheels that I took in when we started Michael's project. I just couldn't get them to hold air. I was putting air in them every week, and it got to a point where, I was going to be airing them up every day. And so I just broke down yesterday. I took these out to my favorite tire store here in town, which is Tucker Tire in Covina. And I just got the cheapest Chinese tires that they had in a size that was the relative height of the tires that were on there. So what was on there were stock Mustang tires, which were a 245 45/17. These are a 225 50/17. They're the exact same diameter. They're actually the same width, but the tread is smaller. So for shop wheels, they're fine. And even if we took these and we go-karted a few miles on them, they'll work just fine. So I just went ahead and I had them mount them and balance them. So they put new tire weights on there. I don't know where, you can't see the weights on this one, but they are in there. And there's weights on this one. There's one weight right there. So if I decide, I've got to, take a car around the block and those are the tires that are on, at least I'm not going to worry about a blowout or the tire coming dismounted from the wheel or anything else. So we're good on that. The last thing we're going to do is I am going to show you, or I promised you that I would show you the fab work for the battery box for Brian that were sent into him up north. And so I'm going to show you quickly. I can't show you all the fab work because obviously we're not doing the framework on the chassis for him. We're just making the box. But I will show you how we fabricated it for the Mark IV versus the Mark III that's over in Michael's car. So, all right, so here is the box. All of the fab work on the box is done, minus a hold down. I'm going to make a quick kind of down and dirty hold down. It's just going to be a 3/4 inch piece wide by probably 1/4 inch thick aluminum that we're going to put a brake on the end, and then that's going to be the hold down. It's actually going to bolt through the back of the box and then go forward, and then it'll have a single battery hold down that utilizes one of the hold down threaded bars that Factory 5 supplies, because it's really simple to use it. It's already in the kit anyways, and you all get one when you buy your kit anyway. So what we've done here on the Mark IV here versus the Mark III that's over on Michael's car is we had to notch around this portion. This little portion right here steps up. Now the battery will still go in there, but because the battery actually sits out here. But I didn't want to have Brian cut the frame and then have to weld in a plate. That's what we normally do, and that's probably what we would do here if we were installing this battery kit in this 25th anniversary car, but we're not. We're using the Breeze front battery box in this one. So I notched that out, and then if you look, you can see that notch allows it to sit right around that framework in the car. And so what it'll enable Brian to do is he's going to have to drill probably 3 holes. One here, one in the middle, and one at the other end. And then run a 1/4 inch tap down through there so that he taps the backside similar to what you do with the upper radiator mount that Breeze does. And then that will mount the bottom. And then he'll have to cut this bar here and wherever the edge of the box is over here. And then a rectangular 3/4 inch tube will come across the top of the box and then down on this side. It'll go past this rail and then it'll sit right on top of here. And so then it'll end up getting welded here. It'll end up getting welded here. And then it'll end up getting welded here. And then that will create the box. And then the top of that will fasten in with 3 bolts on the top, the same as we do on the bottom. Now we'll walk over to Michael's car and I'll show you exactly how we've got his installed with the bolts over there. The only difference is this right here, because the Mark III, the trunk sits higher. So this bar here is higher in the car and you don't have to contend with this. All right, so we're back over on Michael's car and you can see I've got 3/4 inch bolts, 1, 2, 3 going in the bottom. Now I've already carpeted over the top of them. Actually, this worked out really nice. Normally we just leave that aluminum exposed, but in this case, I really like the way this turned out because by the time we put the cover on here and it's carpeted, the battery completely disappears. So at the top, you can see we drilled through with, I gotta check the size on that, but it's whatever drill bit that you need to pre-drill for a 1/4 inch by 20 tap. And we drilled through with that, and then we tapped the upper portion, just the portion up on the top, right there. And same thing on that one and that one over there. So that when they go in, they just grab a thread and then that's just gonna hold it firm. Because there's really no pressure on them that way. All of the pressure wants to pull it out that way. And the battery only weighs, I've got to look, I think the battery is only 12 pounds. So there's not a whole lot of weight because that battery is really small. The battery is, I think, 7 inches long, like 6 inches deep, and 5 inches tall. It's a tiny, tiny battery, but it's more than enough to start even a high compression engine like we have in Slytherin. So one of the last things that Brian's going to have to decide is where he wants to drill into the box for his battery cables. We did find that coming in the back like we did on Michael's car is much more advantageous than on the front like I did in Slytherin and like I did on the silver car, and we did another car too the same way, and I drilled them all on the front. And then I always had to make like a closeout panel in the fender well to protect the battery cables. This way the battery cable's in the back and the box is what protects the cables. So it's like a win-win. So that's the way we fabricated the box for Brian's Mark IV. And again, the box that we fabricated is 1 inch shorter than for the Mark III because the trunk is just shorter. I'm just using some generic lug nuts, 3/4 inch for the socket size. That wheel doesn't want to stay there. One thing you want to be careful of, no matter what wheels you're putting on here, even if it's the factory 5 17 or 18-inch wheels, just make sure, rotate the tire slowly, make sure that nothing's hitting or binding. And once you're sure of that, then you can go ahead and put it back down and roll it around the shop. All right, that's it. All right, I want to thank you guys all for watching. This has been a fun little detour. As much as I wanted to stay on Michael's car and get everything taken care of on it, you know, sometimes you have obligations that you have to meet, and so other things kind of have to take a back seat, and for that I apologize, Michael. But we're going to keep pushing on Michael's car. The 25th anniversary car is going to be coming off the lift here really soon, probably today. the wheels are still on it, even though you guys just saw me change them. So we're going to finish up that, and then we're going to pull this off the lift and get Michael's car back up on here, and we're going to I think be working on his dash and a couple of loose ends that we have on it, so that we can really hit it hard and get it ready for paint and to get it ready for the upholstery, because we still have a hard top to fit on it. So again, thanks for watching. If you're enjoying the content here, do the like, the share, the subscribe, and all that good stuff, because it does help the channel grow. And if you have any questions regarding the 25th anniversary car, Michael's car, any other projects that we have in the shop, put them down in the comments and we'll do our best to answer them. Until we see you guys next time, have a great day.